Let me scoot this back some. Hey, hey, grand rising, grand ascension, everybody. It's me, Nisi, back with another pre-recorded video. I was actually going to go over and do a live stream on my Facebook page, but then I thought, no, let me just go ahead and make this recording because I do want to upload it to YouTube, right? Delusions of Humanity, my little brother Rondo. I'm going to have to reach out to you soon because I may need some assistance on doing some intros and some outros to some videos, right? So I might reach out to you shortly. But I want to dive right into it because I've got a couple things that we're going to read today. Shout out to Chief Red Wolf. He did an amazing read yesterday and phenomenal as he always does. Always learned so much from my big brother Chief. Also, Kamiro Awa had an excellent video yesterday, and he also released on, I believe, on his Patreon page, don't mention the Chazars or the Gujars, right? He's got a series, a video series that I highly recommend you guys check out and support him on Patreon as well as on YouTube. Though you know they are censoring a lot of things, right? So without any further ado, I want to get into a couple of readings. One thing I want to share with you guys is my mentor who I started this walk, gosh, maybe 10, 12 years ago. It looks like it's been since what, 2008? So it's longer than that. Gerald Clark. This is Gerald. He passed away back in 2020 from cancer. His bout with cancer. This is his wife, Krista. She wrote this book. It's called The Living My Personal Legend and a Love That Lives On, Gerald and Krista Clark, right? And I recently got this book. I have not opened it up and started reading it, but this is going to be one that I'm going to read pretty quickly. Shout out to him because he opened my eyes and kind of led me down that road of asking more questions with the ancient astronaut theory, because I am an ancient astronaut theorist. I really am. Because I understand there are other worlds beyond this one, beyond this dome. And we have other entities. I don't want to say aliens or extraterrestrials, interdimensional beings. We have other beings besides us. We're not the only template that the creator of all has actually ever had in these domes, right? So wanted to shout out with him. When I had questions, I would email him and send him messages through social media, and he would respond even as he was sick and on his, final days, which I knew he was sick, but I didn't know it was that bad. He would still respond, and I will always love him. He's moved on to his next life, to his next transition, his next phase, and he's left a mark on this world, right? Also, another one that I want to share with you that I'm going to read from is the Neville Goddard. The Neville collection. It's Neville Goddard. I read this the other day, and so I'm going to read some excerpts from that. Also, we're going to dive into the Book of Wisdom, right? But before we do, I want to do some parallel sayings from Yeshua, Buddha, Krishna, and Lao Tzu, right? This is what I want to read to you. So from Christ Yeshua, it says, "Become aware of me within you. Focus your attention on me, that I may become manifest in you." Krishna says, "Think on me in the serenity of your heart. Control your mind and become fearless. Have me as a supreme goal." Buddha, with earnest meditation, purity of mind, and compassionate acts of kindness, you will become an island of serenity, which even the greatest floods cannot sweep away. And Lao Tzu, from the teachings, say, "Wise are they wiser they who center their hearts on the inner essence of things, not on outer appearances." Okay, those are the parallel sayings. Next up, I want to read where we left off from the Neville Goddard. Okay, and just listen. I mean, it's a lot of information, right? But I think that we can learn from these passages. This is why I'm reading it. So it says, "At your command," this is the first part. It says, "The question, whom do you say that I am, is not addressed to a man called Peter by one called Yeshua. This is the eternal question addressed to oneself by one's true being. In other words, whom do you say that you are? For your conviction of yourself, your opinion of yourself, will determine your expression in life. He states, you believe in God, believe also in me. In other words, it is the me within you that is the God, or that is this God. Praying then is seen to be recognizing yourself to be that which you are now desire, rather than accepting form of petitioning a God that does not exist for that which you now desire. So, can't you see why the millions of prayers are not answered? Men pray to a God that does not exist. For instance, to be conscious of being poor and to pray to a God for riches is to be rewarded with that which you are conscious of being, which is poverty. Okay? Prayers to be successful must be claiming rather than begging. So, if you would pray for riches, turn from your picture of poverty by denying the very evidence of your senses and assuming the nature of being wealthy. It's all in the mind. That's where it first exists. It says, we are told, when you pray, go within secret and shut the door, and that which your Father sees in secret, with that will he reward you openly. We have identified the Father to be the awareness of being, okay? We also identified the door to be the awareness of being. So shutting the door is shutting out that which I am now aware of being and claiming myself to be that which I desire to be. Did y'all get that? I'm going to reread that. When have identified the Father to be the awareness of being, we have also identified the door to be the awareness of being. So, shutting the door is shutting out that which I am now aware of being and claiming myself to be that which I desire to be. The very moment my claim is established to the point of conviction, that moment I begin to draw unto myself the evidence of my claim. Do not question the how of these things appearing, for no man knows that way. That is, no manifestation knows how the things desired will appear. Consciousness is the way or the door through which things appear. He said, I am the way. No, not I. John Smith am the way, but I am in all caps. The awareness of being is the way through which the things shall come. The signs also follow. They never proceed. Things have no reality other than in consciousness. Consciousness. Therefore, get the consciousness first, and the thing is compelled to appear. I'm going to read it one more time for the people in the back row. Therefore, get the consciousness first, and the thing is compelled to appear. Okay? You are told, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and all things shall be added unto you. Get first the consciousness of the things that you are seeking, and leave the things alone. Get first the consciousness of the things that you are seeking, and leave the things alone. This is what is meant by, yea, shall decree a thing, and it shall come to pass. Apply this principle, and you will know what it is to prove me and see. Apply this principle, and you will know what it is to be prove me and see. The story of Mary is the story of every man. Mary was not a woman, giving birth in some miraculous way to one called Yeshua or Jesus. Mary is the awareness of the being that ever remains virgin, no matter how many desires it gives birth to. Right now, look upon yourself as the Virgin Mary, being impregnated by yourself through the medium of desire. Becoming one with desire to the point of embodying or giving birth to the desire. For instance, it is said of Mary, whom you now know to be yourself, that she know not a man, yet she conceived. Okay? This is you, John Smith, okay, have no reason to believe that which you now desire is possible, but having discovered your awareness of being to be God, you make this awareness your husband and conceive a child, manifestation, okay? When you're conceiving a child, i.e., manifestation of the Lord. For thy maker is thine husband. The Lord of hosts is in his name. The Lord God of the whole earth shall he be called. Your ideal or ambition is the conception, the first command to her, which is now to be yourself. Go tell no man. That is, do not discuss your ambitions or desires with another, for the other will only echo your present fears. Secrecy is the first law. I'm going to repeat that. Secrecy is the first law to be observed in realizing your desire. Secrecy is the first law to be observed in realizing your desire. The second, as we are told in the story of Mary, is to magnify the Lord. We have identified the Lord as your awareness of being. Therefore, to magnify the Lord is to revalue or expand one's present conception of oneself to the point where this reevaluation becomes natural. When the naturalness is attained, you give birth by becoming that which you are in consciousness. With this naturalness is attained, you give birth by becoming that which you are one within consciousness. The story of creation is given us in digest form in the first chapter of John. In the beginning was the Word. Now, this very second is the beginning spoken of. It is the beginning of an urge, a desire. The Word is a desire swimming around in your consciousness, seeking embodiment. The urge of itself has no reality, for I am, or the awareness of being, is only the reality. Okay? Things live only as long as I am aware of them being. Okay? So to realize one's desire, the second line of the first verse of John must be applied. That is, and the Word was with God. And who is God? What is God? Okay? Yeah, are you understanding this? This is a simply put. We need to discuss these things because we need to break down things a little bit more than just the surface level of these texts, right? And some would say this is a cult. I would simply say that these verses that we read in all these ancient texts around the world, whether it be Krishna, Buddha, Lao Tzu, Yeshua, there is a surface level understanding, there's a medium level understanding, and there's a deep dive of understanding, right? So you have to peel back the layers like an onion, right? So if you're only looking at text on the surface, that's the only understanding that you're ever going to get, right? And my number one point in explaining these things and reading these things, Chief has a different way of breaking it down. Rondo, Max V, 432 Drop, Camilo, everybody is wonderful in this community, right? Everybody has their own path to go, and everybody, explains and reads. And I don't like the word teach. I don't consider myself a teacher at all. That's not who I am. I am someone who simply has a passion and curiosity and has a fun nature and wants to take ownership of something being my ascension, right? And if it will help me, that is why I'm sharing this with you, right? Because at one point in time, I really truly felt like I was born again, and I went down the watery grave of baptism, and I knew that if I lived honorably until death, that I would get a crown of life at the end when I die and go to heaven, right? Because I was baptized and I believed in a certain thing. Just like everybody. I grew up in church. I went to church 3, 4, 5 days a week. Really, seriously. And went to maybe 4 different churches in my lifetime. From Baptist to Church of Christ to Jehovah's Witness, to all these different non-denominational churches, Methodist. Just different kind of stuff. And I'm just like so confused by all of it, because it was like, this should not be this hard. God is not the author of confusion. No, man is. Because we're not understanding the text because we've been taught a certain way from birth, indoctrination. So if you're taught something one way, most people will never question what they've been taught. Some of us do, and I'm just that person. Whether this is my avatar now or the avatars I've had in the past and the ones I will have in the future, I'm always going to be this bare essence of me because this is who I am, right? My point is that you have to dive deep, and you got to understand that there's no one that's going to come save you. And I'm sorry for people who see this and who are religiously tied to a belief. That's okay. But you must understand that if you really want to know the truth, yes, you put your faith in the creator of all, but you got to put your faith in yourself because ain't nobody going to save you but you, because your actions carry you forward to this life and to the next. And we are sentient beings. Make no mistake about that. And there are beings that do not want us to ascend, that look like you and I, but are not of us. All skin folk ain't kin folk. And I'm just saying, not here to preach because I don't believe in that. I'm just simply telling you, out of my 55 years of life, something ain't right. And it's not all about what I've done with my life, though I can take ownership for the bad mistakes and the decisions I made, but I'm not beating myself up about it, right? I currently am beating myself up about some decisions that I made based on 2 years ago and 4 years ago. But I'm learning every single day to love myself more and get over that bullshit. Because life is a gift. And this is all material. This is all an illusion. Because when I pass, I'm not going to take any of the stuff with me, right? Not even this body. It goes back to the earth. It will be cremated. I won't be buried. I will be cremated. But my whole point is I'm not giving that energy. I'm simply saying to you that I am learning to ascend and rise above this bull that's going on in this world. We are getting ready to go into some things that's going to test your faith and your belief. And my thing is, you don't have to have faith. You should know. And this is why I'm reading this, because you should know that you are a God. You are God in flesh, incarnate. Because God is consciousness. God is energy, intelligent light energy. Why do you think they created all these hadron colliders all over this planet? Why do you think that our ancestors were playing with things and called things up from the deep, things they shouldn't have done, that they've opened a portal and a gateway into this realm, into this dome, right? Why do you think there's so many different things going on around the world that you just can't pinpoint, and there's evil everywhere? It's because there's a lack of understanding. And it's because we've been nurtured with the perverse and grafted into a lie. And once you wake up to that fact and you realize every single thing that you've been taught since you were born is a lie, that is when you start to assimilate the information and become your true essence. That is the turning on, the flipping of the switch, so to speak. That is why I'm reading this, to help you, right? And even if it doesn't go, and it does go in one ear and out the other, that's okay too. There are entities and beings all around us. Not even talking about what's listening to us in these black mirrors, these scrying mirrors we call TVs and cell phones. I'm talking about things that you cannot see with your eye, but your animals like your cats and your dogs see it perfectly. These things want our essence, our life force, and they will do nothing to stop from taking it. This is why we're having the problems that we're having. So if something that I'm reading may be shared to you all, then all better for it. Okay? So what I'm simply saying here is that the word or desire must be fixed or united with the consciousness to give it realty. The awareness becomes aware of being the thing desired, thereby nailing itself upon the form of or conception, and giving life unto its conception, or resurrecting that which was hereto, therefore, a dead or unfulfilled desire. Two shall agree as touching anything, and it shall be established on earth. This agreement is never made between two persons. It is between the awareness and the thing desired. I'm going to read that again. Two shall agree as touching anything, and it shall be established on earth. This agreement is never made between two persons. It is between the awareness and the thing desired. You are now conscious of being. So you are actually saying to yourself, without using words, I am. Now, it is a state of health that you are desirous of attaining before you have any evidence of health in your world. You begin to feel yourself to be healthy. Okay. And the very second the feeling I am healthy is attained, the two have agreed. That is, I am and the health have agreed to be one. And this agreement ever results in the birth of a child, which is the thing agreed upon. In this case, health. And because I made the agreement, I express the thing you agreed. So you can see why Moses stated, I am hath sent me. For what being other than I am can send you into expression? None. For I am the way. Besides me, there is no other. If you take the wings of the morning and fly into the other parts of the world, or if you make your bed in hell, you will still be aware of being. You are ever sent into expression by your awareness, and your expression is ever that which you are aware of a being. Again, Moses stated, I am that I am. Now here is something to always bear in mind. You cannot put new wine in old bottles or new patches upon old garments. That is, you cannot take with you into the new consciousness any part of the old man. All of your present beliefs, your fears, your limitations are weights that bind you to your present level of consciousness. If you would transcend this level, you must leave behind all that is now your present self or conception of yourself. To do this, you take your attention away from all that is now your problem or limitation and dwell upon just being. That is, you say silently, but feeling to yourself, I am. And you are. I am. You are that thing. Part of creation. You exist within creation. You are creators. You are sentient beings, a part of source. Do not condition this awareness as yet. Just declare yourself to be and continue to do so until you are lost in the feeling of just being, faceless and formless. When this expansion of consciousness is obtained, then within this formless deep of yourself, give form to the new conception by feeling yourself to be that which you desire to be. You will find within the deep of yourself all things to be divinely possible. You will find within the deep of yourself all things to be divinely possible because we are sentient beings. We're not just these bodies. We are so much more. Why do you think they had to change our names, our being in these avatars? Why do you think they had to change the Athatana 6 times? Why do you think that? Here in the Americas. Why do you think Hitler said America has the crown jewels? Who do you think they were talking about? What race of beings do you think they were talking about? And it's just so much more than race, you guys, because we all have melanin in our skin. We are just lighter shades, okay? Just lighter and darker shades. But you got to understand these things. You got to think on these things, and you got to really chew the fat. You really got to digest the meat. And it says, you will find within the deep of yourself all things to be divinely possible. Everything in the world which you can conceive of being is to you, within the present formless awareness, a most natural attainment. The invitation giving us in the scriptures is to be absent from the body and to be present with the Lord. The body being your former conception of yourself, and the Lord your awareness of being. This is what is meant when Jesus said to Nicodemus, ye must be born again, for except ye be born again, ye cannot enter the kingdom of heaven. That is, except you leave behind your present conception of yourself and assume the nature of the new birth, you will continue to outpicture your present limitations. You have to be childlike. I'll put that in there. The only way to change your expressions of life is to change your consciousness. For consciousness is the reality that eternally solidifies itself in things round about you. Man's world, in its every detail, is his consciousness outpictured. You can no more change your environment or world by destroying things that you can your reflection be destroying the mirror. Let me read that one more time. You cannot no more change your environment or world by destroying things than you can your reflection by destroying the mirror. Your environment and all within it reflects that which you are in consciousness. As long as you continue to be that in consciousness, so long will you continue to outpicture it in your worlds. I'm going to stop there. Now let's get into, quickly, Book of Wisdom, part on ether. The ether, an ever-present field connecting all things. It fills every millimeter with boundless, free energy, acting as the foundational substance, giving rise to all physical matter encapsulated by the four alchemical elements. It is the ultimate source from which all physical creation originates, and to which all things ultimately return a primordial force, shaping the fabric of existence. The ether is a substance that transcends the conventional boundaries of physical and non-physical realms, serving as a connective medium between the physical plane and the astral plane. It is believed to manifest a dual nature, encompassing both tangible and intangible aspects. This dual existence allows it to bridge the gap between the material world and the ethereal dimensions, facilitating a connection between the physical and the astral realms in the conceptualization. The ether becomes a metaphysical conduit that enables interactions and influences to traverse between the tangible and unseen aspects of existence. That they do not teach us in school. Taking a dose or shot of my everyday dose. They don't teach us about ether in school. They didn't when I was in school, let me put it that way. This book, I highly recommend you guys to get. I'll hold it up again. That was a lot to take in, and I know. And I transitioned from that to this because I want to point something out. Consciousness. We need to understand what that is. And the very basic thing I can impress upon anyone, because I did this in the very beginning, is to go into a closet, set the door, put a towel under the door, and just sit there. Back against the wall, you can sit, with your legs crossed, your legs out, whatever's most comfortable to you. But just sit in the closet on the floor. At first, when you listen, you're going to be screaming. Your voice is going to be loud in your head. You have to learn how to silence that voice and just be. And you're going to have flashes that come in your head. You're going to be thinking about all different things. But you have to know that when you stop, when you actually take deep breaths and you do your gamma breathing in through your nose, out through your mouth, in through your nose, out through your mouth, and then flip it to where you're breathing in through your mouth and out through your nose, and then holding your breath for 10 seconds at a time and breathing out. When you do these in repetitions or sets of threes, when you do it for each one in sets of threes, you relax yourself. And eventually you drift away from your body. You lose all feeling and you forget where you are. You have to get really good at it, because if not, you'll end up going to sleep. You'll end up falling asleep. And the key is to be aware, to stay present in the body, but let the body rest. Your mind always goes. It's a catalog, it's a Rolodex, it's an index, like Chief says. But you can still the mind and still just know that you are in your awareness and your being and you're ever present. And that's the key to it. That's the very first part of it. Okay. So we live with an ether. We're not taught. We can pull energy from the ether. We are being powered within the ether. Okay. So I wanted to read that part to you so that you can understand that this is all relevant. It's all interconnected, right? And first you have to still the mind. All is mind, all is thought, everything vibrates. We have millions of magnetite crystals that vibrate in our brain, okay? And The most important thing is that we are not taught these things. We are not taught biology, the actual physical human anatomy, and what these things represents. Our ancestors knew that. It's time for us to get back to that knowledge. That is why I'm reading these things. I am sharing the information with you all. What you do from there, it's all up to you. So it says, next paragraph. Some assert that the acknowledgement of ether's existence represents a closely guarded secret among certain elites. The revelation of ether's reality, according to the perspective, could potentially dismantle the fundamental principles of mainstream atomism, particle science, and the established electrical grid power system. And it will, because they knew they had the truth. Tesla rediscovered what the ancients were already doing in Tartaria, the ancients. And as you've been following me, you know that we're on the 7th generation. Formerly, the reset happened around 1728 when they started blowing up everything, and they had to paint this new narrative. And we all know who that is. We all know who they are, and we all know what they did. And millions, if not billions, of people were executed, murdered over in the flash, right? We knew that. So understanding these things about ether and understanding that there is more than what we've been told, they don't want to lose the control. And that's why we have things the way that we have them now. It says, metaphorically, the ether is something likened to a vast ocean of infinite energy and referred to as water. The connection is drawn from the Bible, where Genesis 1:6-8 mentions ether as waters. And God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. Where he's talking about ether. An alternative symbol for Yeshua is the fish. This emphasizes the link between ether and its metaphorical connection to water. This symbolizes, underscores Yeshua, or Jesus' role as a guide navigating the profound depths of spiritual knowledge and leading minds through the boundless energies of ether. In various culture and religious narratives, divine figures like Jesus and other recognized prophets have been symbolically associated with the fish, a representation rooted in the concept of ethereal ocean surrounding us. Portrayed as masters of the universe, they possess this extraordinary ability to navigate between different realities at will, descending into and ascending out of them. And we have the power too. But they've tried to stun it and hide it from us. But we possess the same thing. And it says, this physical journey is metaphorically linked to the life of a fish effortlessly diving into the depths of the ocean and resurfacing. The title, The Fisher of Men, attributed to Jesus, carries a symbolic connotation signifying his role in drawing minds from the confines of the reality into alternate realms through profound occult teachings. And here's the symbolism here. The fish, and I see this on people's cars now. So look. I'm trying to get this page here so you can see the fish. So we're going to stop right here because I'm at my time. When we come back, I'll read Flat Earth in the section of the Book of Wisdom. I'll also pick back up on the Goodard collection. And I may even read some excerpts from Flat Atlantis, though it does have some other text. Okay. I also will get back into the Sacred Secretion. I know Chief read some text from there last night. I do have about 4 or 5 books on this Sacred Secretion and the science of Sacred Secretion, and I do want to deep dive into that. So this week, please expect with me or from me more readings on the Book of Wisdom and the Neville collection. And then also you'll see another video from me on the science of sacred secretion or the sacred secretion, the occult teachings there. Again, I am reading this information. Everybody deep dives and breaks down things separately. I've given you a lot to think about. If you need to rewatch this video, please do so. But I will just sum it up for the Goddard collection, what we just read. Like I said, all is mind, all is thought. When you ask for a thing, you must know and not believe. You must know when you ask for a thing that you will receive it. The first thought or that gives birth to thought is, like the book said, consciousness. And you have to know this. This is not having faith. This is not having a belief. It is about knowing. And putting it out there in your consciousness and within the ether. Okay. You have to direct your focus on that which you want. And I can speak, and I'm not going to do a testimony on video, but I will just say this. I can speak to this book because I know that it's real, because when I focus my intent on something, I get that. When I put my mind to it, I get that. I make it happen. And it is because the creator of all lives within me, and I am part of creation. I am a creator myself. You have to direct your focus on what you want. And you have to ask for it and put it out there in the universe. And know that the creator of all, if it matches the frequency that you're requesting it, and you're focusing your intention on that which you want, it will come to you, and it will come to fruition. It will come to pass. That I can assure you, because that I do know. I'm not speaking on something that I don't know. I'm telling you that it will. And that is what I mean by conscious intent and focus. Okay. I hope these words have helped you. I hope these readings have expanded your mind, your consciousness. And please believe me when I say that we are eternally bonded. You need to be the change that you want to see all around this world, because it is up to you and I, right, to make that positive change in this ethos.